One. Hey, welcome guys back to another episode of Too Much Pod Tar live edition. Earlier we had a show for about an hour, a little over an hour, and right after we ended it, it was kind of impeccable timing. That right after it ended, that was when the Yankees went and got Anthony Rizzo. So nothing was going on before that, and then we ended it. It was like, we're just gonna end it here, and then of course that's when that happens. So, but now we got some more stuff to talk about. We got that to talk about, and of course, as you guys have probably seen, the Dodgers going and getting not only Max Scherzer but also Trey Turner in a complete blockbuster deal. And joining me is Dodgers fan Kevin Klein, who's been on this show before. This might be his first time seeing his face on because we haven't done videos, but so welcome back.
What's going on, Alex?
Oh, not a whole lot. I mean, obviously a whole lot, but since the last time we talked, I think that was what last before the season started. I think we did like a preview show or something.
Yeah, I think the last time you had me on, Dodgers landed Trevor Bauer, which at the time was awesome, but not so awesome lately.
Yeah, but now you get Scherzer, who's going to be step in and be that ace type guy they need to replace him. So it's like, what's your initial thoughts on the deal, and like what were you thinking when it looked like the Padres were going to get him?
Yeah, I'm still trying to wrap my head around this, but when the Padres initially got him, I was definitely concerned. That could have been one of the all-time great rotations with Scherzer, Darvish, potentially a healthy Lamont, and then of course Musgrove and Blake Snell if he can be consistent. But
Mhm.
yeah, the Dodgers surprised, I think, everyone when it just seemed like there was just a glimmer of hope. The insiders kept saying the Dodgers are still in the Scherzer race, and they probably upped the ante by giving up Josiah Gray and Kybert Ruiz, who we can, go more in depth on in a few minutes or so. But this is an impact rotation arm, and the Yankees and the Dodgers are running away with the trade deadline right now.
Yeah, it's just insane. It's probably one of the most insane trade deadlines I've ever seen. Just some things just came out of nowhere. Like I honestly, the whole time it was kind of like Gallo. I kind of knew it was gonna happen. I think the Yankees were in that for the whole time, but Rizzo, it just came out of nowhere. I was never expecting that. I thought maybe they would go after Story still, but not Rizzo. He was just out of the picture. But getting him to add with Gallo is just insane because now they have two left-handed bats who have also play really good defense. Rizzo, he leads all first basemen in the league with 7 outs above average. So he's not only a good bat but a good defender. So that's a
Yeah.
really big improvement.
Where do you think Stanton will bat in their lineup?
I honestly think he can bat fifth. I don't know if the Yankees are going to do that, but I think that's his best spot is putting Judge second, then Gallo third, Rizzo fourth, and then Stanton. Because I think they need to break up, the guys that strike out too, like have big holes in their swing sometimes, and that's Gallo and Stanton. I don't want them to back, but we'll see what the Yankees do. The Yankees, I mean, tomorrow is going to be when these guys are together, so we'll see what happens when they go to Miami. I mean, well, see if Stan actually even plays the field because they keep saying they're going to play him in the field, but I don't know. They haven't done it yet. So
Yeah, I didn't see that move coming. I thought Luke Voigt was their guy.
yeah, now it looks like he might be on his way out if they make another deal before tomorrow. But they could still keep him and just DH him too.
I
And
think they should trade Voigt for either John Gray and maybe a relief pitcher, or try to sway Herman Marquez. I think Voigt would be like a great fit for the Rockies. I know you mentioned Story. I don't know if he's necessarily on the block or not. I guess that's still the biggest question mark, but get some good arms. That would really help the Yankees, I think.
yeah, I would definitely like that if they can move him and a couple of prospects to go and get Marquez would be the dream. But I don't know if he's even on the market or if the Yankees would be able to get him. But John Gray would still be pretty good. So
Definitely.
So yeah, I also might have Jamie Gatlin come on the show as well if he can figure out his Wi-Fi issue he was having before. But he's a Red Sox fan, so we can talk a little bit about them as well because they haven't done anything really yet. They were in talks to get maybe potentially get Rizzo. They were in talks with Scherzer as well, or maybe not in talks, but at least interested. So they kind of lost. They lost on both of those guys. I don't know what your thoughts are. What direction you think they're going to go now?
Yeah, I mean, I still feel like first base is the position they want to upgrade. I don't think they're going to get the type of star player that they were hoping in Anthony Rizzo, but I still think CJ Crone would be a good bat for them. And I also still felt like they might tackle a starting pitcher. Kyle Gibson seemed like one of the prominent arms that was on the trading block, and I know he hasn't been dealt yet. So I could see the Red Sox maybe going after either they get Nate Lowe and Kyle Gibson, or do they just get Gibson? I guess that's kind of where I see them right now.
Yeah, they're definitely going to do something. It's not. They're not going to be somewhere where they just don't do anything. It's Shane Bloom's going to go and make a deal. They're not going to stand pat, especially watching the Yankees do what they did. They're going to have to do something. It's like even if it's just more like minor trades. So
I agree with you definitely.
I'm wondering if we get any trades that come in overnight, even like a after midnight type thing.
Yeah, I mean the San Francisco Giants. We still kind of expect them to do something. I know that the Cubs have been selling some pieces. Didn't expect them to actually get rid of Anthony Rizzo. To be honest, I thought he'd be like the one guy they would for sure keep, and I thought Chris Bryant would be on his way out. So I'm actually surprised he's still wearing a Cubs uniform at this moment in time.
Mhm.
That could certainly change, but and Craig Kimbrell, that's another name that we should keep our eyes out on. I think he's going to get dealt inevitably.
Yeah, I'm with you with Rizzo. I thought maybe he would. There was a chance he'd get traded, but I didn't think it would be before Bryant. I thought Bryant would go first, and then maybe the cards would fall in the right place where they would also want to get Rizzo in there. But I definitely thought Baez would maybe end up getting in there too before Rizzo. I actually thought it would be Baez before that because at this point I think they're gonna go all in now and just trade everybody since they
Yeah,
traded
it
Rizzo.
definitely seems that way. The Nationals, I know they were like a lot of people kind of expected them to be a sleeper team entering the season. I kind of was always on the stance like they'd be the team that would shake up the trade deadline market when the time came to be. And so far, that's really coming true. I think Kyle Schwarber is still another name, even though he's on the IL with the hamstring. Could definitely be an upgrade bat for a lot of teams. I didn't expect Trey Turner to get moved to the Dodgers, to be honest. That's probably the more surprising part. I knew Max Scherzer, they had to get rid of him. He didn't have a qualifying offer attached to him because the Detroit Tigers used it on him when he had left in free agency all those years ago. And then just the fact that they're trying to lock up Juan Soto. I know that's their franchise player, probably going to get one of the most expensive contracts ever. But then, when that report came out just a couple of days ago that Trey Turner really wasn't interested in signing any long-term extension with the Nationals based off what they were offering with him, I guess that's where I kind of felt like he would be on the market. I just didn't think the Dodgers realistically were going to get both Trey Turner and Scherzer because we have on the Dodgers they have a good lineup overall when healthy, and Gavin Lux was someone that they were hoping to play consistently, but he hasn't really panned out this season. So I'm guessing moving forward, when Corey Seager and Mookie Betts come off the IL,
Mhm.
Lux is probably going to ride the bench, assuming he survives the deadline, and Trey Turner will now be their new second baseman and probably some outfield.
Yeah, that's a really scary lineup now with Turner adding to that mix, and they're I think they definitely shot themselves up to they're World Series favorites for sure at this point. I think with this move, even though they haven't really been playing as good as baseball as they did last year, just this move just really it just fortifies how good of a team they are.
Yeah. And I'm still trying to figure out how the Dodgers might put together the lineup moving forward. because I believe Trey Turner has always been a number 1 or number 2 hitter with DC. So I'm going to assume Mookie Betts is staying at the leadoff spot.
Mhm.
Maybe you bat Trey Turner second. You have 2 really fast guys at the top of your lineup. Then you have Justin Turner batting third, Muncy in cleanup, and then maybe you drop Seager down to fifth, which
Yeah.
that might be the move just based off how much Cody Bellinger has really struggled this season. I think that was also another factor why the Dodgers felt like they had to make a splash for a bat. It's because Cody Bellinger just hasn't been himself this season. He's really struggling, not only against lefties, but righties. And he's batting like below 200 against fastballs, which is just very strange for Bellinger, who in the past, that was the pitch he destroyed.
Yeah, surprising to see somebody like that, who was an MVP candidate a few years ago. Well, obviously won MVP as well, but just kind of sucks for the game. Like you want to see those guys continue playing at an MVP level. So even if probably even Padres fans are kind of, or maybe they're happy, but at the same time they want to have the same level of this competition. So
Yeah. So for those that aren't too familiar with the prospects or players that the Dodgers gave up to acquire Scherzer and Turner, the Nationals at the end of the day are coming home with a great haul. I mean, they got the Dodgers' top 2 prospects, Kyber Ruiz, one of the top young catchers in the game, was just absolutely tearing it up in AAA this season. OPS of over 900, maybe even over 1.00, however you say it. Crushing home runs almost every day, it seems like. He had one game where he belted, I think, 2 or maybe 3 home runs in a single game.
yeah.
Had a couple cups of coffee with the Dodgers, was able to get a couple home runs. But this guy's the real deal. I mean, Fangraphs compared him to potentially the next Yadier Molina. And then Josiah Gray was the top-ranked arm in the Dodgers farm system. Just made his major league debut less than 2 weeks ago. He got 2 appearances under his belt. The first one, he struggled a little bit against the Giants, gave up 4 runs, but the whiffs were there. And then his second outing against the Rockies, he went 4 innings. I think he generated 7 strikeouts. And this is a talent that people all around the league were very high on. So I know he was on a lot of teams' radars, and the Dodgers parted with a great arm, and I think he could be potentially the ace of the future for the Nationals if everything goes right for Josiah Gray.
Yeah, I agree. He's a really good arm, and I, the Nationals, they needed to get some good guys in their system. They didn't. They're probably one of the bottom feeders in the league with as far as their system goes. So this coming out with these guys. Even I was even saying before, I thought maybe they could have got a little bit more, but getting the top 2 guys in the Dodgers system is still really good. I think they went with that over more they went with quantity over quality. I mean quality over quantity. That's
Quality, yeah.
So
Yeah, it's not too often where you see a good farm system team actually deal their top 2 prospects.
yeah,
I feel like when the Dodgers got Darvish a few years ago, that was like a quantity over quality type of trade because I think the top ranked prospect was Willie Calhoun, and none of those players for the Rangers actually panned out. And we're kind of seeing the same case with Baltimore. It was another quantity over quality, and really none of those players have come up to be anything with the Orioles.
yeah, right. What do you think about the Orioles? What do they? Do you think they're going to trade anybody else away?
I haven't heard anything. I haven't heard anything about the Orioles. They don't really have assets to trade. I know Trey Mancini is probably the one guy they could trade, but
yeah,
I feel like he is he's what sells tickets at this point. So I don't see them moving him. They don't have any pitching besides John Means, but he's really young and controllable. I don't see why they would move him. And I don't know too much about their bullpen. Maybe you do, but I don't think they really have any relievers that people want either.
No, they don't really have anybody. Yeah, like the 2 guys you mentioned are really it, and they're not going to give them up. So,
what were your thoughts on the Rays getting rid of Castillo? Is that his last name?
Yeah, Diego Castillo. That really surprised me. I mean, he's one of their best arms in there, and they're like they're obviously right in the race with the Red Sox, and they needed a guy like that, and I don't understand why they did it at all, really. I mean, the guys that they got weren't really much. They were like lower level guys, so
Yeah.
it doesn't really make sense to me for a team that's right in the race.
Yeah, I don't get it either. They also got rid of Rich Hill, who I know is not doing too great these days, but I felt like he was still a viable rotation arm.
Yeah, I don't know. They just seemed maybe they're just not smart. I
Well,
mean,
they're
they are
s-
smart,
they're
but
smart because they traded high on Blake Snell and got Patino, who
yeah,
I heard is dominating now.
yeah, he dominated the Yankees today, so that's for sure. So he just like some of the other moves they make good moves, but then other moves are just head scratching, like the one they did with Castillo.
Yeah, and they also traded Jake Cronenworth away, and I don't think they got anything good in that deal.
Yeah,
But do you think Jose Barrios is getting traded? Because I know he's the top arm of potentially available, but the Twins insiders, from their reports, are saying that the haul is just like extraordinary and high.
I don't know. I think he still got moved. I think the Twins just want to move on from him and get good prospects in return. Maybe I mean maybe it'll be too big for them to. Maybe the price would be too big for them to actually do it, but I I don't know. We'll see. If it just depends on what teams are looking at, and I saw the Yankees might be interested at this point, but I don't think they're gonna give up on too many big guys. So if the Twins ask for a lot, the Yankees probably just gonna walk away from it. 'Cause
Yeah, I'm very curious if the Padres feel the heat tonight and AJ Preller just says, this is supposed to be our year. You know, the one arm that they've managed to keep is Mackenzie Gore, but I wonder if at some point they just, he hasn't been too sharp this season in the minor leagues. Curious if they just say screw it and they go for Barrios, who's an established ace for a lot of teams.
yeah, that's actually what Johnny said before on our live. He said, if between the Dodgers and Padres, whoever didn't get Scherzer would turn around and go and get Burrios. So that's definitely a possibility. So I think the Padres might be sitting here and thinking, "Oh, look at this. Well, we thought we were going to go and get Scherzer. Now the Dodgers pounced on it. Let's go and just trade a bunch of guys away for Burrios. I mean, they have a good system still, so they didn't like all the moves they've made. They didn't really give up much for the guys they got. So they definitely could still do it.
Yeah, absolutely. Is there any other rumors or trades that you've been keeping your eye on lately?
Uh, Not really. I think just that. I mean, Barrios is the main one. Scherzer was a big one before that happened. Gallo, of course, before he was traded. So I haven't really seen any other rumors like besides those the bigger names. I haven't really seen any rumblings at all.
Yeah, I'm starting to wonder if the Mariners, yesterday, Jerry Dipoto, or yesterday or the day before, whenever he traded Graveman, he was saying, this move will make a lot of sense when we're done with the deadline. And I'm really curious to see if they're the team that ends up with Trevor Story somehow. I know that they have a plethora of prospects, and if you can get Story, who's just as established as it gets with the position, and they have tons of financial capital coming down the line. If they want to build a lineup where it's Story, Kelenic, and I believe Rodriguez is their other stud.
Mhm.
Um, Correct me if I'm wrong there, but I could see the Mariners possibly doing that type of deal.
Yeah, I can definitely see it. I mean, everybody was kind of wondering what there was going on when they went and traded Graveman, and they were like, "Why are they doing this?" I thought they were buyers, but then they went and still they today the Castillo deal was them. They went and got him, so they're still he's pretty much replacing Graveman. So um, they have really good bullpen. Their offense is solid, and if Kelenic can pick it up, that'll make their offense even better. So go and get someone like Story. That'll really improve their chances of going in the playoffs and even making noise.
Absolutely. Yeah, this is just one of the most craziest trade deadlines in like recent memory for me.
Yeah.
Last year was kind of slow. 2019 was kind of also slow, but this year is really living up to the hype. And
Mhm.
on NBA draft night too, where we've already had some blockbuster trades in
Right.
agreement. But
Yeah.
there actually was a sleeper trade that the Dodgers did before the Scherzer deal, and I kind of like it. I think it's a good under the radar pickup. It's when they acquired left-handed pitcher Danny Duffy from the Kansas City Royals for basically nothing, and the Royals are paying him, I believe, to come to the Dodgers. But
Yeah.
I know he's on the IL right now with a hip flexor or some type of flexor strain, and he might not be back till mid to late August. But even though he was a starter the last few seasons for the Kansas City Royals, I think he's actually going to be an elite bullpen arm for the Dodgers once we get into October. And I know it's been a few years since he's come out of the bullpen, but 2015, he was a huge force for them. I think he was there in 2014 too. If he can get healthy, the Dodgers, one of their biggest weaknesses that I've been pointing out all season long is that they really lacked a great left handed reliever. Victor Gonzalez has really regressed this season. Um, Then they acquired Garrett Clevenger, Alex Vesia. Both of them are just really young, haven't been consistent. David Price was another left-handed arm for them. He's been in and out between the rotation and the bullpen. So maybe this is their guy. Maybe Danny Duffy becomes that consistent lefty for them.
Yeah, I can definitely see it. I like that move. That's like it was an under the radar kind of move, and then all of a sudden, bang, they get Scherzer too. So, I mean, it kind of went by the wayside when they were looking at Scherzer, but it's still, I got to look at it like, oh, they still got this guy. It's going to be really good depth for their pitching. So,
Yes.
um, trying to think of some other trades that went down. Like some other minor ones that I forgot about.
I know Eduardo Escobar went to the Brewers. Cesar Hernandez went to the White Sox. Um, can't think of anything else though.
Um, I was also going to mention, you mentioned about other past drafts. Trade deadlines. What am I saying? Drafts. I'm thinking about NBA draft. That's why. Um, but past trade deadlines, like I remember 2019, we did a live on here too, and that was the year I wanted the Yankees to move for a starting pitcher, and they ended up not making any trades at all at that deadline. And I was just on live. I was like, I wasn't even talking for like the last hour of it. I was like just sitting there like, what? I was in shock that they didn't do anything.
Yeah. Cubs traded earlier today Brian Tepera to the White Sox. That was
Yeah.
a random trade.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, I forgot about this one. You probably talked about it earlier though. What are your thoughts on Brad Hand going to the Blue Jays?
I mean, he's not that good to be honest. So I was like laughing at it. Like this is their the reaction to the Yankees getting Gallo, and I was like Gallo and Rizzo because I think it was after Rizzo. So or maybe it was before, but either way, it's still kind of like okay, they see the Yankees make a big move, and then that's what they do. And he hasn't been good this year at all, and just it's not going to really help them at the bullpen. So
Do you think the Blue Jays are missing the postseason at this point?
yeah, I think they are. The Yankees are going to pick it up here. What the additions they made and additions they still might make. Um, and the Rays and Red Sox, of course, are right there. So it's going to be a three-team race, and Blue Jays might be a little bit in it at times, but they're not going to be able to catch up with the three teams at the top. So and then you look at the wild card too. It's just the Mariners. I think are going to be right in it still the whole time, especially if they go and make another move like Story, for example. But I think it's going to be too tough for them to sneak in there.
Absolutely, yeah. The American League is so competitive that I definitely love seeing that.
Yeah.
Like, who would have thought Seattle would be breathing behind Oakland's neck right now for that wild card spot?
Yeah. And who would have thought the Giants would be leading the NL West?
I know, definitely a huge shock, but we'll see what they do. They have to respond, I would think, to what the Dodgers have done, what the Padres probably will do. I mean, they already made a good splash even before all this went down when they acquired Adam Frazier. They didn't really have to give up anything to get him. It's kind of funny how they really want to trade Eric Hosmer, but they want a team to pay most of his salary.
And yeah, they're definitely going to have to, throw in some like a good prospect in there too if they want to give him up, or if they want to have someone take him.
Yep.
Well, I saw, but I was going to talk more about the Giants a little bit. I saw that they might be going after Bryant.
Yeah, I think that move makes a lot of sense for them. The reason being, not only can Chris Bryant play third base, he can play outfield, so that provides some great flexibility for them. I don't know when Evan Longoria is supposed to return from his injury, but both Bryant and Longoria, and I guess Wilmer Flores, I'll add him too. Like, historically, they just all crush left-handed pitching. So for a guy like Kershaw, it makes you a little uneasy, I suppose, because all those guys specialize in hitting left-handed arms, but they have a sneaky good lineup. And I mean, Buster Posey too. I can't forget him. Like,
Yeah.
what the Giants have assembled is just a really good roster.
Yeah, Buster Posey, I thought was not going to be even in the picture this year. Really, I thought it was going to be what's his name from their top catching prospect that was coming up. Now I forget his name.
Joey Bart.
Yeah, Joey Bart. I thought he was going to come up and take the starting catching job from Posey, but Posey just came out and he's performed. So
Yeah, speaking of Joey Bart, it makes me one of the things I was hearing that the Chicago Cubs really wanted Joey Bart. I wonder if now the Giants feel more pressure to just make that move and flip Bart for probably Bryant, and then I would assume they also would get Kimbrel on top of that, or Zach Davies. But I feel like Kimbrel is a better option than compared to Zach Davies.
yeah, that would be interesting if they can pull that off. I'm hoping that something else happens here.
Yeah, if nothing else happens, I gotta head out probably in a couple minutes.
All right, yeah, that's fine. I really just wanted to do this to talk about the Scherzer deal anyway. So
yeah, I mean, Max Scherzer. Now you got a rotation of Walker Buehler, Clayton Kershaw, Max Scherzer, Julio Urias, and then for that fifth spot, you can mix and match Tony Gonsolin, David Price. Pretty elite stuff. I just saw a tweet from, I want to say, John Heyman. Pull it up right now. Dodgers roster now includes 6 total MVPs. Pujols had 3. Mookie Betts, Bellinger, Kershaw have 1. 7 Cy Young Award winners. 6 amongst Kershaw and Scherzer and David Price. And you can say 8 if you want to count Trevor Bauer, but I don't think he's coming back ever again for the Dodgers, at least.
So yeah, that's insane. Yeah.
And yeah, I mean, every one of their starters has a World Series ring to their name in the current rotation. So that's definitely a huge experience come October.
Oh yeah.
Um, could be the Dodgers Yankees World Series. That's what I'm hoping for. It'd be straight up a battle of two juggernauts.
Yeah, hopefully the Yankees can start turning it around now. You know, even after winning the series against the Rays, they lost the last game 14-0. So it kind of seems like the same things happening over and over again. But hopefully with these moves, they can turn that ship around. And I mean, I really hope they still go and get another arm because they need better pitching than they have right now.
Yeah, I mean, is Jordan Montgomery like their solidified number 2 now?
Yeah, I think so because he's been really solid.
And then Tyon's really picked it up the last month or so. And then I don't really know after that. Domingo Herman, he's pretty streaky though.
Yeah, he's really streaky. Well, yeah,
And
I
Corey
don't like him.
Kluber
I don't
is
like
just
him to
hurt.
begin with. Like,
And then what's the story with Severino? Do you think he's just going to be a bullpen arm when he comes back, or is he actually going to be a stretched out starting pitcher?
I don't know. I think it depends on when exactly he comes back. It's supposed to be pretty soon, so I think maybe at the beginning they're gonna just throw him out there for maybe he's even just an opener, like in an opener situation, because just to get him in there for a couple innings, and then maybe if he pitches well and then he can start getting stretched out, the closer it gets to October. We'll see. I mean, he can be a good long relief option too, though, if they wanted to go that route.
Absolutely.
And then even looking in the minor leagues, David Garcia, uh, he can potentially be an option if they don't trade him. He's been having a kind of a streaky year in the minor leagues, but he's been picking up lately. He's had some good starts, and as the last couple of starts have been pretty good. But if he can keep it up, they're definitely going to look at him to maybe be part of that rotation in October. And Clark Schmidt's also making his way back from Tommy John, so he'll be making his season debut, I think, soon.
Cool.
So
Well, Alex, I appreciate doing this with you. Hopefully, can do some more tomorrow or in the near future. MLB trade deadline. Well, best time of the year.
yeah. So thanks for coming on. Thanks everybody for tuning in to the show again. So keep it tuned to Primetime Sports Talk as we get all all the articles coming out and on all the trades. So yeah, thanks again. Thanks again for tuning in, and be back with more. Maybe another live video tomorrow. I don't get off work till 7, but maybe I'll try to get on there after work and talk about some things. But anyway, yeah, later. Hopefully your teams are making some moves, and catch you later.